Gundam.tk presents Gundam F91. Hey, what's up everybody? It's Robert184 from Gundam.tk, and today I'll be taking a look at the Master Grade Gundam F91 from the movie Gundam F91. This kit was released with much fanfare in 2006, and it sells for the very reasonable price of 3,200 yen. Now as for the movie, very simply, it sounds like, according to the internet, which is always right, that this was supposed to be a TV series that got cancelled midway through, and so they turned what they had already written into a movie. Which is why if you watch it, it seems a little bit choppy, and it really seems like one of the regular Gundam compiled movies, which if you're a fan of Gundam, you're probably already used to. That being said, I thought the movie was pretty good, and I actually enjoyed it more than I expected, and especially the mobile suit. The F91 itself, the mechanical designs, is probably one of my favorites in all of Gundam. For a look around the box, you can see that it's a little bit unusual that the front and back pictures are not just on the left, but instead you can see the very clean and very simple Gundam F91. But what they're really advertising here is that with this kind of frame that you're going to get a technology that was up to now unseen in a Master Grade, mostly the fact that this is a polycapless unit, well, to some degree, as I'll talk about later. It also has Vespers that can transform, a rear shot showing off the unique engine and the bazooka attached in, as well as the display, because you do not just have to use a regular action base, they give you the actual bad guy from the final scene of the movie to use as an action base to hold the F91 with all those weapons up in the air, which is a really cool effect and something I'm looking forward to trying. And down below, if you're good at painting miniatures, then you'll enjoy painting a very tiny Seabook Arno in his normal suit, civilian clothes, and good old Iron Mask, one of the craziest villains in all of Gundam history. The other side of the box again shows the F91 all upside down getting an Iron Mask's face, which is a very cool effect. It shows that you can pull out the fins from the shoulders, and you're able to open up the face to make it what they call face open. And that's not quite the same as it was done in the movie, but nonetheless, I'm still glad they included it. You do get a clear green energy shield, which looks very sharp, and a whole bunch of little weapons, including a bomb that he can throw, and 2 beam sabers in the side of the skirt armor. And unpainted, if you take a look at this, you're actually going to have a very attractive model right out of the box, which is a hallmark of recent Master Grades, so no problems at all if you're not good at painting with this kind of kit. The manual for me for the F91 is one of the highlights, and it really shows off a nice mix of having storyline, art, etc. all mixed in, and more or less useful information. So you get some line art, it shows off all the parts of the F91, what kind of tools you need, some simple instructions on a few of the more complex parts, and it also shows you how to put on the dry decals, which is always useful for people. Then they give you a table of contents for all the parts, and when you crack it open, you're going to get very few plates here. You're going to get a small A plate, B, C, D, E, F, then you're going to get, 2 Fs, G, H, and a very small I plate. So not a lot of plates in this kit. And of course we're going to get a huge kit for a huge plate for the base, as well as a green shield and 2 pink beam sabers. And there you go for ordering your missing parts. Now when you go in here, I really like this mix of story, explanation, and line art. And I also like the fact that they show you here's the plates that you need to build each part. So that's something that goes in here. And if you've seen the movie, here's Seabook and his sister talking about the mother's riddle when they're trying to solve how to actually use the F91 itself. So once you go through the arms, the legs, etc., you get a color splash page which shows a story information, including about the bad guy, the Lafresia, which is used by good old Iron Mask. And then it goes into the color guide, which actually you should use a fair bit, but that's mostly because you've got the Lafresia and the small figures, so don't worry about using too many paints if you don't want to go ahead, or if you do want to go ahead and paint it. Now the weapons are a huge bonus in this, between the Vespers and the beam rifle and the beam launcher, which I've been mistakenly calling the bazooka, which is really cool, and then finally the Lafresia. So I don't know why, but this manual for me just had a lot of bonuses in it that actually don't seem to get in the way, and they make it very easy to read and understand and put together. And on the back, where to put all the seals. My only complaint being that this should always be in color. Well, I wish anyway. And on the back, instead of just showing you an ugly back shot like the old Master Grade manuals, you get a nice front shot of the F91. The seals and stickers are very simple. You can see that they just have one for the camera, the eyes, and then a few black triangles which you'll put on. So otherwise those are the only decals that you really have to put on around the kit itself. You also get a full sheet of marking seals, and something I'm not crazy about marking seals because when you put them on you can always see the outline of the sticker all around them. So even though the design is good, it's something that I always choose not to put on. That being said, I've been saying that too much lately. We've got Gundam decals here, which are the dry type, and these are great. So what you can do is you can choose to put on this F91, which is the outline type, or the big blocky one, and I went with the big blocky one. But again, for people that don't know how to put these on, just cut it out carefully and leave some space around it. Put some tape over it, line it up exactly where you want it on the Gundam until you put it into place, and then rub over it with a toothpick which will transfer this down. And then when you're done, peel it up very slowly and carefully and take a look that everything transferred. And if it didn't, just put it back down in the exact same place and finish that up. So a nice touch, Bandai, and if you're good at decals, I think you'd enjoy decaling up the F91. But for me, yeah, the shoulders was enough. The Laphrasia itself, or the action base, is ingeniously designed, although it is just this one big red block. And sort of what I like about it is they give you places for lining, but they give you black parts to add in on top, and it's sort of got these little weapon things, but it's got a nice clear part that inside holds old iron mask, and yeah, you really want to add some paint to that to make him look better, but it's still pretty cool to have a human being here. It gives you the idea of scale when you've got it besides the Gundam. On the bottom, you've got these little weapon parts, which are just green wires which are included, and you just peg them into the bottom, and then there's a tiny slot here on either side of these weapons embankments that you're able to just slide this through, so you have no problem with it sitting flat on the table, and then you can put it into whatever attacking pose you want. The back of the base just slides in here, as you're familiar if you've built things like the high-grade Stargazer, and up at the top you've got a fairly strong attachment here, which is very similar to a regular action base. So you've got a pivot point here, pivot points here, and a unique part for connecting to this to the F91. So really, full props on them giving us an original base. And on the action base, it's always appreciated when they put in marks here so that you're able to actually lock it into place and you're not just moving it up and down using a screwdriver like you have to do with a regular action base. There's a lot to talk about with this Gundam, so this is probably going to turn into a 3-part review, so stay tuned for the next part, and we'll continue our look at the Gundam F91. Thanks for watching, everybody. Robert184, gundam.tk.